Hello, this is Natanguri, and today I have Hetvi as a guest. Hi, Hetvi. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. We just cooked something together last night. We had a meal together, so I'm seeing you quite often, which makes me
Yes.
happy. And what are you studying?
I'm studying business analytics. I'm doing my master's.
Amazing. And do you have any plans for the future? What you want to become? What you want to do?
Currently, my career path is open. I'm open to any sort of opportunities, but mainly I would say in the management side. I would be open to roles that are in the management side.
Nice. I have like a super vague plan, and that's the only thing I have. Like currently, I'm still teaching Japanese, but I'm kind of feeling that it's not the easiest kind of work to like keep going full time. Like if you're in a language school, it might be easier, but if you're like teaching Japanese privately, like because especially for the European people, the language is so different and then culture as well. It's kind of difficult to keep up with that thing. So I'm not too sure how long I will be teaching, but I definitely enjoy it. So like,
So, are you teaching school children currently?
not really. Generally adults, one teenage person, but otherwise, yeah, like adult learners above 30, I would say. So, but it always fluctuates. Sometimes you have like this much students, which is good. And then all of a sudden it all drops. Like, I don't know, it might depend on the season. I have no idea. In the summer, I tend to get like more people who are interested in learning Japanese. And then after a while, like in the winter, I don't know if people are all depressed and have no interest in Japanese, but they don't come to me to start a new language.
I see.
So that's kind of how it works. And today we wanted to talk about social media related things, like especially in the communication context. There are, like, as we all know, a lot of interesting things going on. Maybe I don't know if it's like good to go with big questions first, but first, what do you think? Is social media a good tool or a bad tool for a generation in general?
I feel that it's a good tool, but it's good when you've started using it post a certain age. Like kids nowadays are exposed to it way too earlier.
Yeah.
Whereas I would say you and me still came across it when maybe we were 17, 18. And so that was okay. We knew what was appropriate and inappropriate. We could differentiate between them. But whereas with children, they come across a lot of different things and they don't really know that what to believe and what not to, whether it be trying out all these crazy experiments at home that that where they end up injuring themselves, or just inappropriate content for children, which is honestly widely available everywhere at this point.
Yeah.
So
And when was the first time you got into social media, or at what age did you get your first phone?
I have honestly had a phone since I was 4, but didn't have social media back then. That was just for calling purposes. But social media, I think I got it when I was 14. And back then it was just all funny posts and memes that were part of our feeds. So it used to just be fun. There was no pressure to look perfect. There was nothing much inappropriate, I would say. What about you? When did you start?
Actually, I'm quite new because I did have like this kind of phone. I already talked about it once in the radio, but I didn't have smartphone as a kid, and not even in my school. It came later, but generally I didn't have social media. It was just for communication purpose, like phone calling someone, texting someone, and I didn't have like typical social media application where you would be able to communicating using the internet. So that came way, way, way later. And honestly, Instagram, I don't even have it for 3 years, like slightly less than 3. So when I essentially started university in Germany, that's when I got Instagram for the first time. Before that, when I came to Hungary, I had Facebook. So Facebook, I think, is a bigger thing in Hungary. Like, it feels like around my generation, it's slightly starting to shift into Instagram, but
It
still,
is, yeah.
a lot of people are using Facebook. So that's where I started off. And then when I came to Germany, like most of the information I could get like related to university, like you can easily find on Instagram. So that's why I installed it. So I'm basically actively using these things less than 5 years. And yeah, so it's quite new. And the good thing about it is like I didn't get much bad influence from those things, or like being too irresponsible, any kind of things. Those were just the stories that teachers would tell us like in school, like, do be careful and don't be doing this and that. But
we did have a few of these crazy challenges that had come up in between. I don't remember their names, but I think there was some blue whale game and all of that. I don't know if it was global, but we heard a lot about it back in India. Basically, the game would instruct children to do a small task. It would start off small and it would get more dangerous. And around like the last stage, it would like tell them to, jump off a building or something like that. Oh. Yeah, it was crazy. So we'd heard a lot about that back in like 8th, 9th grade.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I feel like the kids in the modern days, they have like way more tools in a sense, or apps where they can play, communicate with each other. And it's also super common. And in a lot of countries, I guess people are discussing whether it is really good to have social media or phone in the first place at such a young age or not. And they're kind of trying to, test our generation, or younger generation.
To be very honest, I am someone who is completely against children having social media. I find it very unnecessary because it's very difficult to regulate with whom the children are talking to and what sort of content they are interacting with. You cannot really keep an eye on them constantly. And nowadays with the games that they play, a lot of these games are where you play with different players and you have basically a forum where you can talk to the other players when you're playing with them. And they form these online friendships, which are sometimes obviously great. They're not always bad. But I feel like the risks outweigh the good.
And what do you think? Does the internet make communication easier?
Oh, well, it definitely does. I mean, I cannot imagine a day without my smartphone right now, as much as I would love to switch to a flip phone. I was telling a friend just yesterday how cool flip phones look, and I would love to switch to one of them. But it makes it easier, honestly. Like, I don't know how else would I get to my professor telling him why I submitted my assignment late. I need to email him. Wouldn't be able to do that in person. Yeah.
I think to some extent it does make communication easier, but we kind of tend to stick to each other around this same age group. That's the kind of feeling I get. So with the older generations, like connecting on social media is not really typical, of course, depending on what age we're talking about. But let's say 60 years old, 70 years old, or even higher.
The 50s, 60s. Yeah, I feel like they use social media for just good morning messages a lot.
Yeah, which is understandable, but still, I think it's kind of important to keep mindful as much as possible that we're kind of connecting with each other, but at the same time, sometimes rejecting other part of the society when we're like getting close. So that's how I like to think. Like, I don't know, talking to older generation is also important, but at the same time, I don't know.
So like, are you saying you feel the more you connect on social media, like the more you feel disconnected in real life? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, partially, yes. But also, like, who do you communicate to on social media? For example, you installed an app where you can randomly talk to any kind of person all around the world. But who do you choose to communicate with? Probably someone around your age, and probably someone preferably your age, unless you're on a dating app. Or maybe you feel comfortable talking to other, like, sex, it's okay. But still, I think because we have so much choice and we can choose who to talk to, who to be friends with, that also restricts that, like, availability to talking to people. Whereas when you're on the street in a city, and you randomly talk to a stranger. It could be an old person.
Yeah.
It could be like 70, 80 years old
Yeah.
guy.
In fact, that's how
Yeah.
we met.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us like how we met? Please do.
Oh, yeah. So we were near Spanish Arch, and we were heading the opposite ways. And I saw you climb onto some rocks to sit and watch the sea, like to just look at the sea. And I looked at you and I was like, hey, even I want to do that. And I turned back, like I was heading home. I turned back, and we made eye contact again. We smiled, and yeah, so we've been friends since then. I think we chatted for a good half an hour or so.
Yeah, yeah. We like to talk about this almost every time we see each other.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how we met each other? But
To any friend that I've told this story, they're like, wow, this is such a meet cute. If this was with a guy, it would be the ideal situation.
no, but you know, walked past by each other twice. The first time I saw you, and you had like really sweet smile on your face, and I thought, it would be interesting to be talking to this person. But maybe like all of a sudden going to a stranger and talking might come like strange. So, okay, maybe not this time. But the second time when I was turning back, you were turning back towards me as well.
Yeah.
And then I saw you for the second time, and I thought, there's no way I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
Right.
So that was fun. So here's a tiny little game that we kind of talked about. Because on social media, we kind of use a lot of abbreviations. Or do you usually use a lot of abbreviation?
Yeah, I think I do, but they're the common ones. I think most people know these ones.
Yeah. I think for me personally, it's sometimes really hard to understand what they're abbreviating, because the only thing I might be using is LOL, and that's it. I'm kind of old school. So I'm kind of testing you to, if you know all the abbreviations that are, because I'm checking a list of abbreviation, and let's see how much of them you know. IRL, what is it?
In real life.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. I didn't know that. BTS.
Behind the scenes?
Yeah, perfect. IKR.
I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. This might be famous. IMHO or IMO.
In my opinion.
Exactly. In my opinion, or in my humble opinion. Which one would be? FOMO. Honestly, I never seen anyone use this.
Fear of missing out.
You're good at this. You're great. And then this one I didn't know, and I asked you LMAO.
Yeah, that's laughing my ass off.
Exactly. So in case my friend Chifra is listening, sorry for not having understood what you meant so far. I always understand what she's writing, but just this part where she abbreviates, I never understood. And yeah, Hedvig told me what it means. Something.
I learned a new one recently. Even I didn't know this. FMEO. Can you guess what is it?
FMEO.
It means for my eyes only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I learned it from an older friend. This was completely new. I've never come across it.
Yeah. But I guess the reason we sometimes use abbreviations is because it's quicker for the communication.
Yeah.
But still, you obviously have to know the context behind and what is being abbreviated. So a person like me would be like struggling sometimes. I think it's a good way. And another thing that's interesting about the way we communicate, I think there was one interview with Rowan Atkinson in one of the shows, probably in the UK, and he said that he talked about voice messaging, and then he said sending a voice message is easy for the person who's sending, but as a person who's trying to get the information, it's way easier to read the text, because when we're talking into the phone, like we use a lot of wording that are like kind of not clear.
I
And,
agree.
oh,
And
yeah.
that's why I love the new feature on WhatsApp, which lets you play the voice note at like 1.5x or 2x speed.
Yeah, I do
That's
that a
great
lot.
because I'm definitely someone who sends 5 minute long voice notes. So having
Yeah.
that is a blessing for my friends. They appreciate it.
When you're communicating with your friends, like contacting them, do you use? How do you usually contact them? Are you phone calling them? Are you texting them? Are you sending them voice messages?
Oh, honestly, I'm a big fan of just calling them
Mm.
straight up. But if I feel like they might be busy around that time, so I just drop in a text.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
What about you?
I think I used to text a lot, and the way I texted people was completely annoying because the amount I wrote was madness, like paragraphs sending to a friend. Not because I wanted to annoy them, not because I had like, no, I definitely did want to talk to them, but I kind of really enjoyed writing a lot. And I don't know, some of the friends were definitely annoyed.
But why? That's so sweet. I would love to receive a
Really?
well written text once in a while because I'm someone who spam texts. Like if it's a 3 sentence thing, I would like spam text it in like 5 or 6 texts.
Yeah.
So it's nice when people really take in the time and the effort to write a paragraph, you know?
Yeah. But I think the whole information that I was given there was not necessarily useful or interesting. Like I just wanted to write long. I loved it. And eventually I did learn to like write way shorter. But I definitely hated phone calling people or especially sending voice messages because you feel conscious about your own voice at the beginning. And I was like, oh my gosh, do I really have to be listening to my own voice? But eventually I got used to it and I actually like them because once again, it's way easier. And now it's like turned the other way around. Texting kind of gets annoying from time to time, especially if you
Yeah, I
want
agree.
to send a lot of message.
True. Calling is much more convenient.
Yeah.
Like you can get what you want across. Like they know your tone. You don't sound annoyed or mad. Sometimes you misinterpret texts, you know.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen when you're sending a voice note or calling.
Yeah. And especially with the phone calling, like you're directly talking to the other person, which means you can hear their reaction. So
Yeah.
you don't have to like plan and organize everything. And if they have any questions or things to say, you just hear that in real time, which
It's
makes
as
it easier.
close as we can get to having a conversation with the person, you know, IRL.
Yeah,
So that's good.
that's true. We can actually talk about relationships in the modern age with these social media thing. Because what I find interesting, but I'm not sure if it's a mainstream idea, but a lot of people get stressed about relationships. And then nowadays they say, when I write to you, to my boyfriend, to my girlfriend, whoever it is in the relationship, the person has to be answering quickly. And if it takes like a whole day for them to answer back, then it's not going to be a good relationship. And then like texting you back for like with 3-4 words doesn't even take that long. But still, if you're taking a whole day for that, you don't even care about me. I'm not your priority. And that's the kind of opinion I keep hearing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about it?
For me personally, I would like someone to text me back as soon as they can. Or like they can let me know if they're busy through the day. I would understand that. But I feel like this is something that differs from relationship to relationship, honestly. Some people are okay not talking for like 2-3 days all that much, and they may be having one call once in those 2-3 days. But it depends, honestly, because I'm really someone who likes to tell my partner everything that I'm up to in the day, what I'm doing, and I want to know what he's doing. So I usually keep texting, and I don't expect them to reply immediately, but at least in a span of 3 to 4 hours, unless of course they have like really important commitments.
And what about mornings and evenings before you go to bed, when you wake up, texting each other?
Yeah, I am totally someone who does that.
Right.
100% a good morning, good night person.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm the opposite, I think. I get easily annoyed when people text me too much. Like when it's friends, it never gets me. But when it's in a relationship and then a guy asks me all the time, like, or just make any kind of comment, good morning, good evening,
Uh-huh.
blah blah blah, it gets me completely.
Yeah, I remember you saying this.
So it's kind of interesting for me. Like it doesn't bother when my friends are doing. I just find it so sweet when some of them do that, but not really. Like when in a relationship, I really
Hey,
want
maybe
to
you
be.
don't really like him then. I mean,
Oh my gosh, we make fun of guys all the time.
Yeah.
When we're together.
but I honestly think you may not like him if because if you like it from your friends and not the guy,
Yeah.
you might want to reconsider.
I guess what I don't like about this conversation is probably, especially guys, but also girls, conceptualizing the whole thing. Like you're supposed to be like this, you're supposed to be reacting
yeah.
quickly, otherwise, blah blah blah. But honestly, it really depends on person to person. So you can't really generalize the whole thing. So for me personally, I think I kind of enjoy the ignorance where I'm sort of being independent and the other person as well. Like we're not interacting with each other all the time. But that doesn't mean that I'm not thinking about the other person at all. No, quite the opposite. I do think about the other person, but still, I don't want to be in communication all the time because it's kind of exhausting. Whereas for you, it's like it's a better way of having
if
conversation.
I'm not seeing them regularly, if I was seeing them on a daily basis or regularly enough, I wouldn't really require it. But if I were to not see them, then at least I would expect them to have a conversation with me like 3-4 times a day.
Yeah.
It does not have to be like for half an hour or an hour because I hate being glued to my phone all the time too. But even 2 minutes, that's okay.
Yeah. And what did I want to ask you? Oh, yeah. And then another thing we once talked about is the fact that we can find information about each other or anybody for that matter quite easily nowadays. So when you're seeing someone in person, that gives you an information, that gives you an idea of what kind of personality the person has. But also you can actually go and spy these people on internet, like basically going through the Instagram posts and stuff, which is kind of...
I think this is new, but nowadays I find a lot of people stalking people on LinkedIn instead of Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
Because their Instagram accounts might be private, but with LinkedIn they get a fair idea. Okay, like they see what year has this person graduated and then they try to figure out how old they are.
I have a funny story about this. That was still in my first year at the university. Somehow, I don't remember exactly, but I was like once in a while checking LinkedIn. And honestly, I thought it's just for work conversation, you know, looking for, I don't know, working place or hiring someone. And there was this guy, I don't remember, an Asian guy texting me, and he said like, oh, you're so beautiful, and by the way, I'm moving to Leipzig where I was living, and do you want to meet up with me and have a chat about language related projects? I was like, how do you think that this is going to work out in any way? And this guy was about 30 years old, or maybe like 35.
Wow. And
something.
how old were you back then?
Oh, 21, 22, not older. And then we had, he wrote to me, and the thing is, he wrote me an email after that with his own picture attached to the email, and I said, this is how I look like. It's basically, don't you think I'm cool? How crazy do you need to be doing that? And then honestly, I felt kind of disgusted at the first moment, and then my humor came back. So I kindly wrote him back and said, you should understand that that kind of attitude is bothering women who are actually like seriously trying to find some job opportunity, like women trying to figure out her way out or way out to the world, any kind of project they want to do, and then a random guy comes to that person, the woman, saying, "Oh, do you want to date me, or do you want to marry me?" It bothers us a lot. So I hope that you can understand this position, and that was what I wrote to them. And
But how did he find your email? Was it on your LinkedIn?
yeah, it was.
Okay.
So that was the issue. But he texted me. He never texted me back. So I guess
that's
hopefully
good.
he did learn
Hopefully.
something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would be pushing women there to the
Yeah,
stage.
a lot of people upload their resumes on LinkedIn and they have their phone numbers and their email addresses, all of it there. And just so much of your information is public at this point.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think privacy really exists.
Yeah.
I've given up on it. I'm like, you know what? I guess this is it.
And it's kind of interesting because, like, even the person you directly know, this was the case where somebody, like a stranger, tried to contact me
Yeah.
and to, I don't know, get in a relationship, find a new friendship, whatever. But in other cases, we already met each other face to face, and then you exchange Instagram and you start seeing posts of each other. And then there you might find a bit of different information. So not necessarily that these people are completely different people online on their posts, but for example, the short videos that they like makes them look like the funniest people on earth. But that shouldn't be the only resource of judging these people as a, I don't know, friend, a partner, anything. You need to still be alert in trying to figure out what kind of person this is.
Yeah, I don't think you can really judge a person before you spend enough time with them in person. Online, you can pretend to be whoever you want. It's so much easier to pretend to be someone else behind a screen where you just have to text something or like certain posts. It's very easy to fabricate that image of yourself.
Yeah.
But in person, you can pick up on these cues.
But do you think we are better at expressing our emotions in a written form compared to speaking?
Ooh, this again, like, I personally am someone who prefers to speak to the person, but there have been times where that hasn't been possible, and so you just write to them, and it's sweet. But I feel like we should have important conversations in person as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's with writing to someone, it's you can take your time. You can delete it and like retype your whatever you were saying and all of that. But when you're talking to someone in person, it's harder. I mean, they can see you can see their reaction to what you're saying, and if it's something that's like really deeply emotional, it can be very difficult.
Yeah.
But I feel that is the essence of being human. I mean, if we were to hide behind a screen to have all these difficult conversations, there's no point.
Yeah. It's kind of, my opinion on that changes all the time. Like sometimes it feels like we're kind of better at communicating online at this point rather than face to face. Sometimes even in my friends, I see a bit of anxiousness to be talking to people in person. Like, oh, this person might be reacting, because you get the whole reaction immediately, when you're
Right.
seeing the person and talking directly. Either the person likes it or not, gets angry, gets happy, everything. Facial expression, wording, phrasing, everything's gonna come back soon. So they might be a bit more anxious about it. Whereas when you're texting each other online, it might take a while and you're not even seeing the whole information. So either the person texts and you don't see the facial expression or don't hear the voice, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
But I'd say the embarrassment of like embarrassing yourself when you're speaking to someone in person, it's worth it, honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because the embarrassment is temporary, but the memories are forever. So
Yeah. I think in our generation we tend to be a bit too perfectionistic, especially because once you put something online, a lot of people can get access to it.
yeah,
And we
correct.
might be a bit conscious about it. But at the same time, it is still, I don't know, humor is always important, I think. So to some extent, not to take everything too seriously.
Too seriously. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, I think we've really gotten used to seeing everything being very perfect online. And we expect that out of ourselves, out of others. We think that someone, like others, would judge us because subconsciously we're doing the same to them. We're judging them for the posts that they're putting out, for the videos that they post, for the, reels that they like.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why we would feel so conscious about it ourselves.
Yeah. So I think that's more or less about like our conversation. Yeah, social media is an interesting topic, and then we can, and especially I think it's fascinating because everybody has different kind of mindset towards it, even starting from what age people should be getting their phone. Some people say younger the better, to get used to it. Some other people say we need to have a bit of boundary, especially in our childhood. So yeah, no specific conclusion here.
Yeah, I would just say that it's better if you try to use it after a certain age. And honestly, don't take it so seriously. Like, it's for fun. You have fun. You talk to the people that you want to. Just don't sweat the petty things and don't pet the sweaty things.
Yeah, we definitely also need to be conscious about the misinformation, disinformation all around there.
100%.
And it is very scary, but somehow we do need to learn not to take everything seriously, and I think that's kind of the point. Like, we detecting AI and like somehow artificially created videos, pictures, posts would be harder and harder, and maybe especially for that we need to be always conscious, like not to take everything as it is and think how you see things on social media is exactly how the world is. Yeah, we need to be careful with that.
Yeah.
So
It's become really scary with this whole AI thing. There've been multiple times I've gotten ads on my YouTube or like somewhere else, which is an ad for a website or an application where you upload a picture of a person and yourself, and it creates an image of the both of you together, like in an intimate way. And that is so scary. So anyone that has a regular picture of you could do that.
yeah,
Like, you have no control over it whatsoever.
I generally think it's still easy to detect if it's actually AI generated or not, but it is scary that it's getting closer and closer to the reality, and it's harder to
It doesn't.
say.
I feel like it doesn't matter. Even if you can detect that it's AI. The fact that someone can exploit your picture in that way,
Yeah.
in something so inappropriate, because it's not just something funny. It's pictures that where the pictures are generated where you're in intimate positions with each other, which is super wrong. And if it can be done to adults, that means it can also be done with children, which is a whole other topic in itself.
It is. Yeah.
It's very important that we have a lot of regulations and laws brought in around the usage of AI, honestly, because as the use increases for a lot of different things, I mean, the cons are also they're weighing in too,
Yeah, true. I would take that as concluding word, and we'll be finishing now. So thank you for coming, Hetvi. It was a great pleasure to be talking to you here.
Thank you. I had a great time.
Yeah, me too. See you soon. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back. Bye, Slan. Is it stopping?